Yeah.
Hey everybody! We're back here, Rooted Live. I've got a couple of pals with me this time. I got Thomas Harder.
Hey.
Dan Bryant. Shoo! Yes. Now that you all know how to wash your hands and look cool doing it, there you go. We've got our own bottles of hand sanitizer each. So there we go, gentlemen. We're good and clean. Okay, so if you guys worried about us, we're good. All right. So, fellas, what have you been doing to pass the lockdown time? You've been locked in with your kids, wives, and well, I don't know what else. What's it been like in the Harder household?
It's been interesting. You had 3 kids running around. We're both still working. Luckily, we're very blessed to still be able to work. And with 3 kids running around, it's challenging. I'm not gonna lie, it's challenging. Yeah. But coming here tonight, I actually had to put deodorant on for the first time in like 2 days.
You took a shower.
Yeah. So it's been weird.
That's good. Although, what is that? Coconut? Using your wife's shampoo?
Yeah.
How about you, buddy? What's it been like at the Bryant household?
It's been interesting. We do a lot more bike rides now. It's really, yeah. I just got a bike, yeah. I got my little basket in the front. I put my little LOL dolls in there so I can just play with them. Oh wait, sorry, that's my daughter. I apologize. It's the wrong person. But yeah, I'm still labeled as essential too. Teachers are missing school. Go teachers, go essential personnel out there. We want to lift you guys up and say thank you for all you do.
All right, time's up, Dan. All right, here we go. Okay.
I don't know.
So we're excited about another fun night. We're going to kick it off with a game here that these guys haven't seen yet. So they're going to be participating with you. So they'll be looking. You guys need to be looking up there, though, on your phones, because there's a little bit of delay. I will warn you guys, there's a slight delay between what we're seeing and what you're seeing. So if we're delayed in responding to any of your comments, bear with us. That is why. But what's going to happen is this. Let me go ahead and switch on over here if I can get my title up. Okay. And here we go. All right. So we're playing a game called Old Testamoji. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to go through a series of Old Testament stories or characters, and you have to identify them by the series of emojis on the screen. So what you need to do is in the comment section, as fast as possible, put your answer in there, and we'll see who has the fastest fingers. Now keep track of your own score. At the end, you guys can just put your score, total score, into the comment thread. And that way anybody who does watches this service afterward can track theirs and track yours as well, and we'll kind of see at the end who was the champion here at it. We'll check on that tomorrow. But just plug that into the comments, okay? And we'll interact with you, but again, there might be a little bit of a slight delay. But here we go. We're going to jump on in, and let's go ahead here. All right, so Again, you have to guess the Bible story. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this guy. I'm going to make a little sound, which I don't know why I did it, because you can hear it now. When I stop this, you have to guess as quickly as possible what story we are looking at. And here we go. All right, gentlemen, what do you see? What do you see?
Adam and Eve.
Nailed it. Okay, so Thomas slew you. Sorry, Dan.
I was getting my hair raided. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, all right. So Thomas got that point. What?
The island
What did
is
you do?
confusing it a little bit.
The island.
She rated my hair a 10.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes. Yeah, Dan hasn't had a haircut. Let's cut back to this here. You guys see? Show him that hair. Show him that mane. He's growing a mullet. You see this mullet? Oh my
Slow motion.
It's terrible. All right, I'm gonna go over there with a razor and just shave this guy like a lion. It's gonna be Samson.
Mullet man.
All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get back to our game. Okay, so we started off nice and easy with Adam and Eve, but I promise you it does get more difficult. Here's our next one,
No Adam
and
Steve.
here we go. We're spinning. This is a Bible character, not a Bible story. Bible character. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, pow! What do we got, guys? Jonah! Thomas got it.
Wow.
Thomas 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Rocking it.
Hopefully, I guess we should probably. He's saying it so fast. I don't know if people at home are keeping up with him. He might be ruining it for everybody. But that's okay. That's all part of the game, I suppose.
Mine has a 40-second
All right.
on my phone.
Here we go. So, do you know this story? Here we go.
Jesus. Birth, beginning of time. Just one.
Nothing?
I don't know. Land, water.
I'll give you a clue.
Noah.
That mountain is Sinai.
Noah.
That's Mount Sinai.
No.
Not Sinai?
10?
That's not helping me very much.
10 what?
10 men, fishers, loaves of fish.
What 10 of something came up? Brittany in our studio audience, you know this?
I can't see it yet.
It's up. Oh, you can't see it. We have Brittany in the studio audience, but she can't see what we're saying. She's on her phone. So
Laura Johnson got it. 10 Commandments.
Who got it? It's the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments. Oh, you slouches.
Man,
Killing me.
that was bad.
Killing me. Okay, just. Oh, wrong button. Just shake your hair. Just shake your hair out again. There we go. All right, feels better.
Slow-mo.
Okay, we're back. Next. Here we go. We're on. Onward, forward.
Noah.
Ha!
Fire, death, destruction, Sodom and Gomorrah.
I think you might want to look at the other ones too.
Is that one with the salt pillar?
Nope. In the desert.
Yeah.
Fire leading
bush.
them away.
There's a bush.
Oh,
and fire.
no, what's his face?
They're following the
It's talking-
cloud.
and no,
It's a cloud.
it's a fire and a bush and
Yeah.
something's talking.
What's that guy? There was a
the
cartoon they
desert?
made about it. He ran away. He killed an Egyptian
All right, I'm
person.
gonna spoil it for you. It's the burning bush.
Oh.
The burning bush. It's
Okay.
Moses in the burning.
Moses,
Okay.
that's who it
All right,
was.
Moses in the burning bush. All right, here we go.
Okay.
We're moving on. We're totally ruining
Man.
this game for Brittany out there. All right, here we go. Who will guess it first? Well, this is a longer one. You see how many emojis there are? Here we go.
Holy mackerel, puppy dogs,
Noah.
Noah Ark.
Oh, no. You killed that one. Got that one quick.
That is the only one I got right.
Thomas got that one quick. Yeah, you still got after Thomas. But I know you said Noah, though. You said something. Flood, he said something quick. So I'll give Dan a
rainbow.
point. You know what? I'll give Dan a point.
I
I'll
need
give
one.
Dan
I need all the
Dan
help I
needs a
can
point.
get.
He needs
I
it.
need
Dan
points.
needs a point.
My hair can only
All right,
save
we'll
me
quit
so
that.
much, guys. It's a nice mane.
All right, we're moving on. Getting a little more difficult here. Here we go.
Ooh, Samson.
I don't think this is actually more difficult. Go.
Samson.
Oh, this is more
Rings.
difficult.
Someone getting
actually.
married.
I didn't
Noah.
even get this one right.
Fish. Land. No, that's not fish.
What
It's a
in the
mountain. A
world?
cow. There's a cow in the Bible.
Yeah.
Why is there a cat holding his face?
He's like, oh no.
A really tan man with hands.
They're all tan. They're Jewish. Yes.
So I'm trying to mess up
They're
Thomas
Middle
over
Eastern,
there.
so they
Someone,
are
it's
all
a wedding. It's a jewel, crown jewel.
All right.
The cow is sacred.
So the mountain is still Mount Sinai, even though they changed the mountain. That's Mount Sinai again.
Yeah.
Okay. The jewelry was used to make the cow. That's a golden cow.
Oh, so this is right after the 10 Commandments.
It's the golden cow.
Okay. Got it now.
Everybody does a collective like
I get
this.
it.
I didn't get that one right. I didn't get that one right
Oh,
either.
wait. I gotta sanitize.
Yep. Oh, sanitize. All right, back in game. Next round. Okay, here we go. We're moving again. Stop it, Dan.
Samson.
What is it? It's Samson. Yeah.
I knew I'd get it at some point.
So lucky.
Right.
I just like me and Samson are the same. We're both
Dan's feeling Samson tonight with that hair.
with the hair. If you cut my hair, I will be weak. Please don't.
I think you said Samson.
He said it every time you mentioned it.
I will get it at
What's
some
that they
point.
say about a blind squirrel?
Every once in a while, blind squirrel finds a nut.
See?
Every once in a while.
See? As long as I don't go across
Okay,
the power
all right,
line, I'll be okay.
Moving on here. Okay, here we go.
Oh, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
What?
How did you?
What is going on? Are you looking at the other screen?
No,
You
there's
promised?
another screen?
How does?
Oh, I didn't know it was on that
Hey, it's
screen.
on the screen.
Oh, Thomas,
It-
don't cheat.
Oh my goodness. Dan, you're ruining it for everyone now. Oh, this is absurd. Oh wow.
Oh.
Well,
Oh my goodness.
hey Thomas. I think he's caught up with you. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking we shouldn't have given it a second ago. Can we take it back?
We need to take it back.
10 points for the man.
I mean, we should just kick him out.
Yeah.
But I can't touch him. I'm not supposed to touch him. Okay.
Can't touch this.
Oh no. Oh boy. All right. MC Hammer is going now. All right, here we go. Let's go.
One, Adam and Eve.
Any idea what this is?
Cain and Abel killed donkey. SOS. Saved me.
Nope. No, definitely not.
It's
in the
like
Bible.
Jesus. Is that a
Abraham
horse?
and Isaac.
That's it.
That's yes. That's the ram. He got
Thomas
it.
Harder, everybody.
What are you
Oh,
talking about?
hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Next round. Oh,
Oh, jeez.
I breathed in hand sanitizer. I put it in front of my. It was, just don't worry about it. Let's move on to the next round. Next round.
The Rona is not here.
Okay, this one's pretty easy. Is it?
Lion Daniel Lyons Den.
D got it. Look at that. Dan actually got one with the clues in front of him.
Daniel Lion Daniel's dead.
The
Yoda.
Lions in the Daniel Den.
Yoda, speak not me.
Oh boy. All right, I think you guys are tied up yet now. Wait. Oh no, that was it. That was the last one. You guys literally just
We need
tied.
a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I don't have a tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker. Whose hair is better, mine or Thomas's?
Oh, my
Go
goodness.
now.
Oh gee.
I think Thomas just won. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just cornered.
Yeah, you just lost. You lose. That's it.
Mullet man.
Oh boy! All right. So don't forget to put your score in the comments so that we can see how everybody did, and laugh at you mercilessly. That is the whole purpose, right? And then anybody who does this afterward can also put theirs in the comments, and we can see if you could beat these guys. Do you know how many you got right?
I thought it was 4 or 5.
I lost count at 1.
That was the one we gave you.
I lost count
So
after
the only
that.
person there to see it was my wife, so I don't know if this counts, but I only missed one. I actually did get all of them right, not immediately, but the only one I missed was the golden cat.
Well, now you're just bragging.
But now I know, but nobody was there.
Be humble.
Trees falling in the
Yeah.
woods. Yeah. But anyway, all right. Okay, so we're gonna move forward here. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to sanitize one more time.
Oh, whoops. I'm in the table.
Yep.
I'm gonna get some lotion after that. Doesn't it dry your
I know, it
hands
doesn't
out?
dry your hands, all right?
hands
All
are
right,
quite
so
loose.
we're going to jump into our lesson for tonight, and I'm going to bounce some things off of these guys as well. So put things in the comments as well as you guys kind of get the conversation going. Love to hear from you as you have thoughts and things throughout the time. But remember, we are back on to guardrails. Last week, we talked about the importance of putting up guardrails in your life. Guardrails along the side of the road they're there to direct you and to protect you, head you the right direction and protect you from what is on the other side of those steep cliffs and certain death, right? Sometimes not death, but hey. So that's what the guardrails are there for. we pulled from Ephesians chapter 5, and the verse says, walk circumspectly or walk carefully and wisely. It says, not as fools, but as wise. So we've got to make wise decisions about where to draw lines in our life. And one that I do want to remind you of, one of the key points that I really sticks out to me is that guardrail is put in the safety zone. If you look at the side of the road, right, there's the road, then there's usually a safe zone that's grass, and then there's the dive off into the woods or the cliff or the wherever, off the edge of the bridge. But the guardrail is put inside the safe zones. There's a little bit of room, and nobody has any problem with that, except for us when we say, with our own lives, to put the guardrails further back, we tend to fight a little bit. But that's so important. Put it in the safe zone. Don't push as far as you possibly can before heading off the cliff, right? But so this week, what we're going to do is we're going to apply that idea of guardrails to our friendships. So let's make it practical. Let's look at a specific thing that we all face, right? I got some friends here. They're good for the most part. And, we wanted to, who should we be associating with? How should we be doing it? What are some important guardrails to put up when it comes to relationships and friendships? Because they are so important, so impactful in who you end up becoming. But before we dive in real quick, I'm going to just say a quick word of prayer. And hope that God speaks to your heart tonight. Father, thank you for this great time to get together and worship you together, have fun together, and learn from your word. Even though we're apart, God, that you can continue to work because we are united in spirit and in faith and worship and excitement, even when we physically can't be together, God. So work in our hearts tonight, speak through your word, and let us be changed because of it. In your name, amen. All right, so we're going to roll through here. So the question is this, fellas, have you ever met someone that you wish you had not met? Have you ever met someone you wish you hadn't?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Don't look at me. He's looking at me a little bit. He's like, yeah. Real big eyes. Sure have.
Yeah, no, I have before. I mean, it's, you meet people all the time, and there are times where you meet somebody and you don't necessarily know who that person truly is when you first meet them, but after time, you're like, wow, this is not a good person.
Yeah, it can be tough. You experienced, Dan, some relationships. You kind of wish, like, man, that relationship wasn't really too great for me. It wasn't the best for me. I kind of wish I could have steered clear of that one had I known ahead of time. You experienced that?
Yeah. Sorta.
Sorta?
The reason why I say sorta is I look at I do agree there are some people I wish that I had met. I wouldn't have gone through the things I had gone through. But having gone through those, it gives me the ability to be able to help those in those times as well.
You know what? You bring up a good point that we're going to hit on later. I'm going to mention what we need to do to make sure that we can. Because you're right, we can potentially come out of those situations in a way that helps other people, but only if we handle it correctly. So we're going to hit on that. It's a great point that you bring up. So let me say this, okay? There is a risk as we talk about boundaries and guardrails to put up in friendships and relationships and who we should be spending time around, who we shouldn't be spending time around, and things. It can come across potentially as maybe judgmental, right? You could be sitting there listening to me and going, oh, here goes Pastor Adam being pastor again, right? And being judgmental and telling us, I'm better than so-and-so or this and that, right? And we oftentimes in the church can get a bad rap for that, for thinking that we're better than people. And we've got to be careful that we don't. So I want to make a stipulation here. We are not talking about being judgmental. We're talking about exercising good judgment. And here's the difference. When you're being judgmental, you're evaluating other people, okay? When you're exercising good judgment, you are evaluating yourself. That's the difference here, okay? So this is not about you looking at your friends or the people around you and evaluating whether if they're as good of a person as you are, right? To look at somebody and say, well, that's a bad person, so I don't want to be around them. Now you're being judgmental, right? But instead what we do is we look at our relationships and say, is this relationship bringing out the best in me? Or is it bringing out the worst in me, right? So I can look at these guys sitting next to me and say, these guys bring out good things in me. They encourage me to worship God more. They encourage me to love the kids around me. They encourage me to have fun and excitement in life, right? They encourage me to do good, right? It's about, are they bringing out the best in me, or are these relationships maybe bringing out the worst in me? Do I have common values with these people, and are we headed in the same direction? Because the relationships that you have are going to immensely impact the direction your life goes. Would you guys attest to that? Just say, yeah, the relationships in my life have been that way. Have you guys Would you guys experience the same thing, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You can probably think back over your lifetime of different relationships and say, these are the ones that built me into who I am. And if you pick those relationships wrong that are heading in a different direction than yours, you can very quickly, easily get off track and be heading in the wrong direction. So again, you've got to evaluate yourself and your relationships and saying, is this a good thing for me? Is this getting me where I want to go and where I need to go? That's so important. So I want to make that stipulation. Now, the power of these friendships and relationships is so potent. I want to give you an example of how. So a professor at Northwestern University named Morin Cerf, he did a study, and it's a scientific study here, right? It's not somebody's opinion, but he studied brain waves of people that were together side by side, just in the same room, just as these guys and I are sitting side by side, and he found that the brain waves of these people literally started to match up and imitate each other so that they became identical over time. These brain waves are reacting the same to the environment around them and acting the same way. So that the inner person of who you are, your brain function and how you're processing things, imitates and becomes identical to those people that you're around.
Did you say how long it takes? Because I don't want to have a mullet.
Yeah.
So
You guys
I don't
will-
want to be here too long.
I was gonna hold off, but I was like, when's everybody gonna be as cool as me then?
I don't know. Depending on how long this isolation goes, we may all be sporting mullets soon. Hopefully not. Although I do have a razor because I buzz it, but that's.
I
another
said I
story.
was gonna shave it, and Sarah said, "Don't. You have great."
So.
hair." It was weird, and she
so-
said she wanted me to.
So your brain waves literally start matching those around you, and so it's so important that you are with people that are thinking in a way that is biblical, thinking in a way that values the same things that you value or those things that you want to value, so that you can head in the right direction, in the same direction, because again, you will start to imitate those. Now, there's a Bible verse for this. Right? We're talking about the Bible, so let's look at that. So our verse for tonight here is Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. All right, so take a look at that verse again as you see it on your screen. Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. I would encourage you to write that verse down, memorize it. This is the verse we're camping out on tonight. Make it a part of your life and of your heart. Okay? So that's telling you that just by being around wise people, you will become more wise. And by being around fools, it will not only turn you into a fool, but destroy your life. So I want to say this. This is so important to get this. Not only do you become like those people, but you will literally be in line for to be hit by the shrapnel of their bad decisions, right? You've been around anybody who's made a bad decision that you got hurt because of?
Guilty by association.
Guilt by association. That is what Solomon was talking about. All those years ago, the wisest man that ever lived, without doing brain studies, he knew from the wisdom of God that if you hang out with wise people, you'll become wise. If you hang out with fools, you'll become a fool. And even if you're not partaking in it, you will be hurt just by the relationship. Let me give you some examples. What about talking bad about other people? What if you're in the group, you ever been in a group that's talking bad about people, and they're known for talking bad about people and gossip and hurting and bullying? You ever been in the area of you think vaping and smoking and partying and things like that, alcohol and drinking, things that are even more serious than that? Just being in the area, you can be hurt by them, or you can have, as Dan mentioned, guilt by association. You'll be known as those things even if you weren't partaking in it. And let me give you an even more extreme example. You're driving down the road with a buddy that is driving foolishly, recklessly. They're goofing around. They got the music cranked all out up. They're goofing around. They're shouting at people going around, down the road, just acting like fools, right? And you're saying, I'm not doing that. What happens when that car goes off the road and gets wrapped around the pole? I've seen that. You wrapped around a pole, and
I've done that.
Yeah, we've seen that. That was
That's
ridiculous.
not
So you're in the vehicle. You will not be spared from that. Just by being there, you will be hit by the shrapnel, the explosion of their bad decisions. This is so important. And let me say this to you. This is another one you write this down. This is huge. Friends who are not careful with their own lives will not be careful with yours. Friends that don't protect and guard their own heart, they're not going to be protecting and guarding yours. friends that are not thinking about their future and preparing and planning for their future, living for their future, they're certainly not going to help you live for yours. So let's look at this. Let's look at a practical example right now. Okay, let's get real right now. Right now, we're in the middle of this coronavirus. So we are in the middle of what? Social distancing, right? So what do we do when we do go out? We see people in masks, hand sanitizer. Yep, right. So we go to the store wearing masks. We see people wearing masks. We see people covered up. We see people rubbing down with hand sanitizer constantly. We see memes and goofy pictures about people in hazmat suits, just like keep it all out. And we see social distancing, of keep your distance from these people, because we are so scared of getting what they might have, of something that we know that's going to damage us and hurt us and destroy us from the inside out if we catch what somebody else might have. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, some of you go to school or go into a locker room, or you go with friends that you even associate with, that you choose to be your friends, call your friends, and you need a stinking spiritual hazmat suit. Am I right? If you could put spiritually on a hazmat suit to protect you and keep all of it out, you'd need that. But unfortunately, we don't have that. We don't have the hazmat suit. We don't have the masks. We can't protect ourselves from that. But you know what the one is we can do? Social distancing. We can do the social distancing, and it's hard, but we can spiritually and emotionally and socially distance ourselves from those people that could rub off on us and give us something that's going to damage us and hurt us.
You may be part of the in crowd, but God's crowd's better than the in crowd.
Absolutely. We talked about that last week. It's not popular, but it will save you from a lot of heartache, a lot of regret, and a lot of pain. It'll keep you going in the direction you want to go. So as we talk, we're going to now dive into some specific guardrails that you can put up in your life, some red flags that say, hey, you know what? I'm getting near the end of the road here, and I gotta turn back and get back on the road. We're going to talk about it. I'll have these guys talk a little bit about it as well, and keep that in mind. What we just said, some of the importance of this. And remember that setting these boundaries up may seem like it hurts, is hurtful or judgmental or rude to those people around you that you may have to distance yourself from. It could be hurtful, but the truth is it's an act of love. It's an act of love that protects them as well as you, and speaking truth into their life. And the thing is, they may realize it then, or they may realize it later, hopefully not when they've hit rock bottom, but when that does happen, when they come to and realize this is foolishness, because you distance yourself from that to begin with, as you were talking about, right? You will be healthy enough in a position to help them then, right? So powerful. So let's look at a couple of principles here. We'll jump in to our first principle here. 5 guardrails you ought to set up in your friendships. These are red flags, again, that tell you you're bumping against that guardrail. You're about to get in trouble. You're about to get some damage. You need to steer back into the road. Here's our first one. This ought to tell you, your conscience is speaking to you. You got to red flag go up. When it dawns on you that your core group is not moving in the direction that you want your life to be moving, jot that down. Take a picture of it with your phone, if you're on your phone. I don't know, write it down.
Screenshot.
Take a screen. There you go. It's even easier. Screenshot all of these principles. I put them on there for you guys to keep. When it dawns on you that your core group is not moving in the direction you want your life to be moving, it's time to take a step back and go, whoa, something's wrong. This isn't right. This is not the direction I want to be heading, and I've got to take a step back. Have either of you guys say that, I've had a situation like that? I think, Thomas, have you experienced where you say, there's been some times where I've looked at it going, this isn't really going the direction that I want to go. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I think a lot of you guys know I grew up in Christian school. So I was in Christian school all the way up until my junior year. And it's really interesting because sometimes it's hardest to stand up for God in Christian school because you're surrounded by other Christians and other people that they're going to church, and when they start doing something wrong, it's more difficult to stand up to that person than it is to stand up to somebody that is not a believer. And I remember just specifically friends, and the first time I remember hearing about like drugs at all was in like 8th grade, and I remember like 2 friends in a Christian school talking about it and just actually talking about smoking, and it just completely. It shocked me. I didn't know, first of all, even what exactly they were talking about. But that was kind of one of those moments where it was like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to be doing that, and I didn't necessarily speak up about it, but it definitely dawned on me that, man, these guys they're not going down the same path that I'm going down.
Yeah, and you could see yourself if you keep associating with these people, you can see that that's a road that I could end up going down if I'm not careful, and that's not what I want with my life. So you had to make a decision at that point to separate and get with some crowd that is going the way you want, right?
Yep.
So powerful, so powerful. That's your first principle. So let's get back to our second one here, and now we're looking at when you catch yourself pretending to be someone other than who you really are. When you catch yourself pretending to be someone other than who you really are, it's time to take a step back and go, hold on a second. Why do I feel the need to pretend to be something that I'm not? What is it in these people that is making me feel that I need to be something different? And the power of acceptance is so potent. We crave so bad to be accepted. And we can see ourselves nodding with things in a group saying, Some of your inside, you're going, I don't agree with that. Why am I nodding? I don't agree with that, right? We've all been there. Yeah. I sat there silent when a raunchy joke was said, and in the locker room, and I feel like I should say something, and I don't want to be the guy who sticks out and said something. It's a tough thing. So when you feel yourself trying to be something you're not, I'll point this out to you guys too. Okay, we're not talking specifically about dating tonight, but this shows itself all the time in dating. You ever been with a guy or a girl that you start to pretend to be something you're not so they'll like you more? Like, hello, if you got to pretend to be something you're not to be with this person, you're saying that they're not going to like who I really am. So either you got some insecurity problems you got to deal with, or if they honestly won't, that's not a person that you want to be with. You've got to be able to be yourself, and especially be the kind of person that you know that God is wanting you to be. So if that happens, it's a red flag. Time to turn back, okay? Let's jump over to another point here. When you feel pressure to compromise, when you are in a crowd with people that make you feel the pressure to compromise something that you believe in, something you said you would never do, right? You sit there saying, I will never fill in the blank, and you feel the pressure, well, maybe I should. Maybe that's a red flag. Thomas, you mentioned this one as well, and I think it maybe ties in a little bit with what you've already said, but do you have anything to add to that as experiencing that yourself as a young man?
A little bit, yeah. And I actually had to confess to my mom before this because I knew this was going to be on Facebook Live, so I was like, well, shoot. If I'm going to tell everybody this story, I got to at least make sure my mom knows before I say this. But no, so I told you guys just a second ago about a group of friends that I had, and I'm hoping I can't still get in trouble for this, but I think I'm good. I think
statute of limitations is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? Okay.
But no, I had a group of friends who we went through a stage where we were cheating on like tests and quizzes and then pretty much anything we could. Which you might think, well, how do you cheat on a test? Well, we actually found the room in our school where they kept all the textbooks, which also had all the answer keys and all of the quizzes. I mean, it had everything. So we would go in and we would just tear the test out so we'd have them ahead of time. We knew what all the answers were. And it was interesting because we only had one copy of it. So real quick, funny story. We had a system set up. We walked into a room for a test and said, okay, you know all the answers. I'm not going to name any names because this is, people could know these people. But we had a system where you took your pen, and if I knew the answers for the first question, I would tap my pen 3 times, and that was letter C. It was all multiple choice. And so we got through the whole test, got done, and then at the end of the day, one of the kids had got one question behind. So he got all of them wrong after that. So it was just one of those situations where, I knew in my heart I shouldn't be doing that, but I had friends that were doing it, and I just kind of went along with it. And looking back, it's definitely something I regret. And
do you know where your diploma is? I'm coming for it.
Yeah, you probably should. You probably should. But no, the really interesting thing is to look at not all of them, but some of those friends that I did have and kind of where they are now. It's really telling about some of the decisions that were being made back then. So
yeah, so true. When you feel yourself pressured to compromise something you said you wouldn't do, red flag, get out of there. Get out of there. You've got to protect yourself. Again, it's not about those people. It's about you. It's about you protecting you and protecting your future and what God has for you, in store for you, okay? Let's get to another one here. Our next one is when you catch yourself thinking, I will go, but I won't participate. I know some of you have experienced this. There's somebody looking at that screen going, you might be sitting next to your parents here, and I don't know if there might be some cringing going on at home. There might be a little bit. Maybe this leads to some fun conversations afterward. I don't know. But when you catch yourself thinking, I will go, but I won't participate, guys, we know this is garbage. This is garbage. Dan, you said that you could kind of relate to this one and wanted to say a word about it. What's your thoughts on that?
There were times when that's sort of why I'm outgoing now more than I was. When I was younger in high school, junior high, a lot of times I just always sat back, didn't really do much. I would go to places, but I just sit there in the back and just hang out by myself. I may have a few people I'd hang out and chat with them, but then I realized I missed out on all the opportunities of having fun, like especially with the youth group. A lot of the activities that they all did. There's a few. I mean, I was the pastor's son, so I had to go to almost all of them. But the ones if I didn't go, there was some that I sat back and just relaxed and just didn't want to do anything. But then when the ones that I actually went to and participated in, like it was a great experience there. And even going to hanging out with the friends out from school, when I would just sit there and do nothing, it just you feel like you're by yourself. So if you want to be engaged, looking back on that, I wish I had been engaged more, because those engagements that I didn't get in, I could have opened up to conversation where I could have talked to them about. Now everybody in my school knew I was a pastor's kid, so like I could do anything, and they could watch me and say like, well, he's a pastor's kid, so he's probably gooder than whatever. But
Gooder.
That's my 1 year of education in community college right there, man. Yeah. So.
But it's so easy to make that excuse, though, right? To say, well, I'm going to go, but I'm not going to do anything. I won't participate in it. Again, let's go back to the stuff I was talking about earlier with something as simple as sitting and gossiping, talking bad about somebody, even sitting here in youth group, right? Sitting at church, you can do that. All the way up to something more, with parties and alcohol and drugs, smoking, sex, and other things, right? It can get any wide range of things. Wherever you're at, this applies. Don't be somewhere and say, I just won't participate and that'll be all right. It's only a matter of time, because Satan's going to work that wedge in there and just push you a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You get more and more comfortable with it. And it says that your conscience gets seared, is what the Bible says, until eventually you're doing things you never thought you would. Again, we talked about last week that in Romans, it says that the people are guilty. In Romans 1, not only people who do these sins, but take pleasure in those that do them. He said, don't even look on those things or speak of those things. Let's get ourselves out, okay? So let's finish with one more principle here to wrap up. When you hope the people you care about don't know your whereabouts or your actions. When you hope the people you care about don't know your whereabouts or your actions. This is rough. This is a tough one right here. How many times, guys, have you been sitting there doing something, going somewhere, thinking a thought, doing something in where you don't have the accountability, people aren't around, and you know that if somebody you cared about, somebody you respected in your life was there to see it, you'd be embarrassed, you'd be horrified, right? You'd be whatever it is. When you feel that feeling, that is time to get out. When you're around people that are drawing you into things or into places where you know you ought not be, and you'd be embarrassed or scared that somebody you care about, or your parents or whoever's going to find out, that's a great indication you ought not to be doing it, right? It's a big old red flag. Get yourself out. These principles that pulled actually are not original even to me. We've talked about them a lot, but actually this came from a message by Andy Stanley, and he said something a phrase that was so powerful. This right here is the nucleus of a lie. Right? We can catch ourselves lying and twisting and covering ourselves to protect ourselves. If we would stop at the point where we realize, well, I don't want other people to know about this, and don't go there in the first place, or don't do it in the first place, we would not be in the position then where now we feel we have to lie. So there's a little bonus for you guys. But so let's just run through this one last time. One last time, I want you guys, if you take screenshots, jot these down, whatever it is, remember these principles. These guardrails that say this is indications that my friendships, this relation with this person, with this group, whatever it is, an indication I need to get out when one of these applies. We'll run through them here real quick one more time. It is when it dawns on you that your core group isn't moving in the direction you want your life to be moving. When you catch yourself pretending to be someone other than who you really are. When you feel pressure to compromise. When you catch yourself thinking, I will go, but I won't participate. Or when you hope that people you care about don't know your whereabouts or your actions. I hope those are very practical, actionable things that you guys have been able to glean from tonight. And I want you to evaluate it. Look at your relationships, look at your friendships, and evaluate them with these. And ask yourself honestly if you've been in these situations and if some changes need to happen, some conversations need to happen, some guardrails need to be put up. Talk to your parents, talk to people you trust, talk to people that are on the same page with you and trying to live godly lives. Talk to me, talk to your group leaders. You guys got group leaders here that are here to support you. Talk to us about these things. Again, talk to your parents, exercise wisdom in your relationships. Thank you guys so much. Been a blast. I know I've had fun. Thomas, Dan, you guys had a good time?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah,
Honestly,
awesome.
Truly miss you guys. Hate that we can't see you guys, but know that we're praying for you guys. And if you guys need anything, seriously, like Adam said, reach out.
That's
Thank you all for tuning in, man.
Yeah. We love you all. You guys stay healthy. Put some guardrails up, have good conversations with people that you love, and we'll do this together. We're in this together. We love you guys. So good night for now. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10. Have a good night.
See you guys.